the process of physical awareness comes with the development of strength and courage and the dedication of the investment of the work that I do on myself. I went to school for creative technology because I felt stuck. I had a lot of things that I wanted to express, and I didn't really know how to think about them or even knew where to begin. And now I create intuitive art experiences based on stages of my personal transformation. So my process of self-transformation started when I realized I needed to change on an internal level in order to live the life that I wanted to live. So I started going to psychotherapy. Whale, this particular piece that I will show a video of, is inspired by the positive work that I was doing in therapy. It is a it is a self-reflective environment where it immerses the visitors in a completely dark environment. So I'll just play the video. Hi, this is Sonia Li, creator of Whale. These are footages of people experiencing this installation. Whale is an interactive multi-channel sound installation strongly rooted in humanity. It is an environment where one experiences oneself. The experience is heavily influenced by the user's own psychology. In complete darkness, the user lays on a subsonic vibrating bed, experiencing waves of vibration through the body.
What happens if I just use my regular speaking voice?
When speaking into the microphone, the user's voice triggers different whale sounds. Sound is a material in the context of sculpture. In using techniques to sculpt and spatialize sound, it creates a sonic sound field where one feels enveloped and immersed. Okay, so that was Whale. So I made this piece drawing rain, an interactive performative experience, as a reflection of my inner being and also my love of nature. I use the act of live drawing in the computer with custom software to generate the visuals and the sounds. And the act of drawing is very private to me. So it's the entire ambiance is a depiction of this private, intimate moment of myself drawing large and body in an immersive environment. Oh, oh, whoops, wrong. Ah, okay. So here you can see you can kind of see the audience in the front, but I'm in the back drawing, live drawing, and everything is being generated by my drawing. Okay, so, oh my God. Sorry, I'm really losing control of this slide. So while I was stumbling and trying to figure out this whole dance thing, I became interested in neurology and I started designing optical illusions for dementia elderly. So this particular piece, I had collaborated with a fellow ITP alumni, Aaron Montoya Moraga, and he designed the prototype for the custom software and the interactive wand. So this is a small clip of the dementia elderly playing with the interactive wand. Ah. So it was very interesting to see how they would use the wand because it is connected to a wire. So some of them would kind of want to jab it, and others would be very delicate with the wire, and then they kind of see it as a part of the interaction. So it was very interesting. And then here's an excerpt of the optical illusions that I designed. The dementia elderly were very mesmerized by these images. So I decided to explore further into creating visual movements. Currently, I'm making images that are visceral reflections of my internal changes through dance, inspired by my research in neurology, psychology, and dementia. The interesting thing about these visuals is that they reflect different stages of my mind-body connection. In dance is a language that sparks new brain cells and interconnecting to form the new neural pathways. And the plasticity of the brain is constantly adapting to the physical changes, so it impacts perception and memory and perception. So as my body learns to perform complex movements, these visuals also evolve with me. So for example, these images are from when I was learning to do internal somatic work and I was not physically moving as much. So the elements within these visuals are moving within their own parameters, but they're not actually moving out of their own parameters. And this is a, I'll pause this. Oy, sorry. This is a short clip of this video playing in Madrid at the NH Collection Hotel in a new media festival. So in this hotel, there's a LED video dome, and they play all this video art, and this was a part of the festival, and this is the opening. So then as I progressed to taking more dynamic movement and dance classes, these visuals started to become very active and less stationary. And you can really see the constant mind-body transformation and shift in these visuals as I make them. And they're really a direct response to the changes in my physical practice. So I would say from the first example to this example, there's probably like about a 4-month in between. So you can really see the transformation of like how my physical dance practice is changing and how my work is changing along with my physical body. So this is an example of my most recent example, and it's actually from last week. And if you compare this clip to the previous 2 examples, you can really see these changes in myself, this process of how my brain is changing along with my physical body. It's so much more free without any type of structure. It's really a direct reflection of the internal changes within myself. Through this entire process, for sure, I'm a very different person than I was 4 years ago when I graduated Creative Technology School. So these visuals will be showing at the File Festival in Brazil this July, and it's a large new media festival, so I'm honored to be a part of it. And they are also a part of an interactive performative experience that I'm designing. I'm also researching in artificial intelligence and interested in working with it along with these visuals. So I'm actively looking for collaborators. If you know somebody, I'd love to like talk to them. This is my contact information and me dancing in front of my work. So thank you so much.
that, I'd like to open this up for questionings. Does anyone have a question?
Please. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm having a lot of trouble with the computer today.
Yeah, well, thank you for your presentation. Why did you decide to work with the patients with disabilities?
With the dementia elderly?
Dementia, exactly.
At that time, I was in an entrepreneur challenge, and I knew that I wanted to do something with art and health. And I came across a type of very interesting therapy called multisensory therapy, where they use, the senses to engage with these people with cognitive disabilities. So the interactive wand and the optical illusion was a part of this whole installation that I designed. And designing for different kinds of cognitive disability was very interesting, actually, because they all have very different needs. So like for dementia elderly, you really needed to design something that was very active for them, but not so much that they get overwhelmed. With designing other kinds of cognitive disabilities, it's more like maybe it has to be more subdued. It's like it's actually very challenging to design for people with actual disabilities. Yeah. Yes, please.
With regards to your exploration with the dementia elderly, I was wondering what the goals were in that space. Like, was it just to get them to interact with whatever you put in front of them, or are you trying to elicit a specific reaction from them?
Well, the thing with this kind of work is that it's art for dementia. So it's not meant to be seen as a medical or, type of thing, although it does have... I would like to refrain from the word therapeutic for many reasons. I do believe in the power of art to heal. I'm a strong believer in that, and really shows in my work. There's a lot of research that I did when I was designing those optical illusions for dementia elderly that I had to really translate what I understood from an artistic, technical point of view into the things that I was researching about designing for dementia. So they're really, in short, they're really meant for improving quality of life. I had also visited nursing homes, which, to be honest, it was really quite an eye-opening experience, how people live in those places, how they treat them as groups rather than individuals. So it's really meant for quality of life. Yeah.
Is there anyone else?
Hi. Just if you could just talk more about representation of your mind changing with your movement, and because I thought that was a very interesting idea.
My mind changing with my movement.
As your technique in dance developed, you said your brain was actually changing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, that is a very interesting part. So it is a funny thing is that before, when I was doing more internal somatic work, I felt that I was more up in my mind. I was thinking a lot more. And now that I've progressed to taking more advanced dance classes, it's, I feel that I live more in my body. Like, everything I do kind of relates to my body. Like how am I sitting? Like, how is this position of sitting making me feel? Like, are my sits bones on top of my, my shoulders on top of my sits bone? Like, there's a lot less anxiety, and I'm finding that I also tend to forget certain things more. It's almost like my brain is telling me, this is not something you should be prioritizing. This is what you should be prioritizing now. So whereas before, I used to have like a much better memory, I would say, like, and remember everything. But maybe that's not so healthy for the body or being a human in general. So that's really the whole thing. And the way I make these works is that I don't think about them that much. When I first started making them, I was thinking a lot. I was thinking about composition, you know, colors, everything. And then at one point, as my dance practice progressed, I just realized that I didn't really need to think about these things. I just make them. And actually, it's really a much more organic and, you know, reflection of my own internal changes. So they're kind of like diaries almost, you know? Yeah.
One more?
Hey there. Hey.
Hey.
I just wanted you to speak about the source material for the videos. I love the videos, and
Oh, thank you.
and where did they come from? Or I mean, you were just saying that you just allow things to happen, and I love that. But where are you taking from?
Oh, yeah, so these videos are really a mix of public domain and also my own videos. I have a lot of my own videos, and I have a lot of like my own field recordings and, you know, photos that I take, videos that I make of myself dancing that I like superimpose onto all these things. So it's kind of like having an artist library collection, you know, and just pulling things out of your library as needed. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Sonia.